Welcome back, everybody. Cliff again with our last real module in our bootcamp series for Off the Line by Mike Nagel and Relative Range Games. This is not really from the rulebook. This is an additional thing, a Vassal module. Vassal, for those of you who aren't familiar, is a program to play on your computer various board games. Most war games, a lot of them, have Vassal modules. There are other applications you can use to game on your computer. Things like Tabletop Simulator, board game, BGA, Tabletopia, War Table, or Roll20. I mean, if you like miniatures. Tabletop Simulator is more physics-based and is also suited to miniatures. I find it a little clunky to use with just board games because we don't need physics. So Vassal is my go-to. It's an important thing to me because I like to play on the run as I'm traveling around, and carrying around boxes and setting up and taking down games as I'm traveling is cumbersome. Also at home, I don't have a nice gaming room that I can declare is mine and off limits to the cat and other things like grandkids. So that leaving up a game is problematic, and Vassal allows me to pause and come back and forth. And in addition, as I said last time, I'm in a fairly rural area without a lot of face-to-face opponents. Vassal allows synchronous playing online various games, and this game is well suited to that. So I could play solitaire, take down and put up, rapidly resume where I was, or I can play online if we manage to get the Vassal module public. Having said that, this module was built by Greg Amos, who makes some of the best Vassal modules out there. Joel Toppin and Greg Amos, I think, are the best, in my opinion, wargame module designers. So it's a great thing that Greg built this, and it has a lot of affordances that I want to highlight. There will be extra bits in this module that won't be public, because the purpose of the Vassal module is to facilitate play, not replace buying the boxed game. You should always buy the boxed game. So there will be parts missing. Mostly it'll be the scenario cards and probably the main terrain chart, so that you need to have a print copy in order to play using Vassal. And to drive sales, this Vassal module will not be made public by me, nor by Greg, or anybody else until Mike has sold enough copies. So buy a copy of this game so we can release the module, because it's a great game and it's a good module. So what about the module? Let me walk you through the bits and pieces. So when you fire up Off the Line off of Vassal, you're going to get this screen. We're just going to start a new game. But we could look for a game online. If your opponent has set up a session, you'll be able to log in and play as a side against him or her. Or we can load a saved game, but I'm just going to assume we're starting from scratch. Next, we have to determine our role. You could be solitaire. Play as the US, Germans, British, or Italians so far. Or you could be the observer. And soon I hope that we'll have Russians and Finns on this list. So let's say we're playing solo. Next, these scenarios are not pre-set up. You have to set them up yourself. So you have to select the boards that you're going to play on, either the scenario boards, or you can design your own scenario. So let's say we're going to put Summer 1 down. Now, you can have multi-board setups. You can decide if you're going to flip that or not. So you could flip it, or you could have it right side up. And we can add another column. And I could say beside it, I want board 2. And that board, you could flip or not. And you could say, I want another row under that. And I want, that's when we stay board 1 here. We'll go down here and we'll add on like board 9. And then over here, I'll add board 10. And you can flip these or not. And when you finish, I've now got a 4-board scenario. I don't want a log file. We don't need this space. And I'm going to zoom out to fit. I'm going to fit the height. There we are. There's our 4-board setup. You could run a whole platoon on that. So this module allows you to extend beyond the 24 scenarios that come with the base game and the 2 expansions thus far and create your own. You could have a single map and just play with a team, a little raiding team on a raiding party. You can play the 2 maps out of the scenarios. You can make new multi-map and have larger battles. So this has a great deal of flexibility and power, and I really, really, really am excited about this. It makes me giggle like a little girl. All right, let's run through the little bits and pieces of using this thing. Up here, we have our toolbar. We have our undo last move. Oops, screwed up, foobar, undo it. We've got step forward through the log file. So if you have a log file from previous play, I don't typically use log files. You can walk through them to see all the action playing out. This is how you set up a session, a room number. We can create a room. You must give it a server name. So let's see if I can go test and create. Oh, we got to set this thing up. I don't do this very often. We've got to connect. There, we're in our main room. New room. Create. There I am as test. Wee beasties. I can set up as like the Americans, and then I can invite you to come play, and you would look for me in my test session, and you'd log in, and you'd be the Germans or whatever. So yeah, we can do that. We can stop this. Disconnected. Don't need this. And let's make that go away. Let's bring this up. We don't really need it. It's going to sit there. Okay, fine. Retire is when you quit as a side. So you can choose which side you're going to switch to. So I could say I'm going to become the US now, and you could sit there and play this way, or you could play just as the solitaire. I'm going to stay solitaire. Pieces palettes. We have allied pieces, where that's where you find your hero marker and your spotting marker. You don't need them very much. The Axis also have a hero marker and a spotting marker. The games palette is where you find things like our bunker. I've designed a different bunker marker to make it easier to see which way this thing faces. So we can rotate that to get its facing, and you can see the 3 hexes that it's firing at. I find this easier than the marker that came with the game. That's just one of the little affordances you get. We can delete that. Clear terrain. Here's our crew, LMG, HMG markers, complete. A lot of these are going to be built into the markers already. You won't have to come here. There's flare, foxholes, hold, improve, initiative, momentum, our momentum draw, pinned and pin 2, prone, reaction fire, our rates of fire, smoke markers. This is out of smoke. Smoke 1, like the bunkers, I like the smoke to fill the whole hex, because it does. The turn marker, upper level for buildings, and victory point markers. If you want to tag, like that's a victory point for holding that. You can tag on your, I don't think that's a real marker from the game, but it's an additional thing you get. The action deck is the action deck. You can magnify it, and you just draw your action cards and read them It's not going to interpret them for you. And you can shuffle them back when you need. The whole action deck, 120 cards are in there. This is U.S. forces. Got our U.S. build. All the nationalities have these same tables that are unique to them. So we have our build table. So let's say I need 21 to 30. I just go here and I draw specific cards. I say I want 30 down to 21. Say OK. When I pull those off, I get 30 to 21. If you want to deploy these and have them hidden, masked, we can mask them first and drag them up, or you can put them into deploy, like when you're doing the solitaire. Let's say this is going to be the ape. The ape is playing Americans. You place these into deploy, and then you can randomly draw them out. It pulls random soldiers. You don't know what's what. And if you had fakes in there, they would be drawn randomly too. So I could put there's 2 fakes, 3 fakes in, and they're going to be drawn out now. We don't know if that's a fake or not because they're masked. You can hover over a counter for a couple seconds and it will show what's under it if you have permission to see it. When you're playing solitaire, you have permission to see anyone, so don't hover over the ape's markers for too long or you'll accidentally see what it is. If you're playing 2-person and you have the Americans, you can hover over the Germans. You'll never see what's there. They're hidden. So like here, this guy is Martinez, and this guy is Lopez, and here we have Jenkins next to Brown. No fakes out there. We also have the whole build value thing if you want to build your own troops. So each side has its own build sheet. The Americans also have a reference sheet. This has all your weapons information on. We've got our initiative marker. We can switch the initiative from Axis to Allied, and that switches it on both cards. And if it's the Americans, we can put our initiative where it belongs. If it switches back to the Germans, we just take it off. The number of orders, instead of having a chit competing with the initiative, Greg made orders for Group A and Group B, where you just set the number of orders. So I bid 4 orders. And then as you use the first one, you just use an order, use an order, use an order. I'm out of orders. Here, for the scenario, you set your break number. Say the break number here is 7. We've got exited, KIA, and routed. That'll be tracked. And your momentum here, you can add momentum if you get a momentum card as a special event, a random event. If this guy is killed, I'm just going to go and say he's off board killed. He goes to KIA automatically, and we get 1 toward being broken here. If he routes, if this guy's routed, off board, route, it goes into the routed pile, and we increment our number toward our break number. That's all done automatically. So there is some record keeping that's taken care of for you by the module. You're still going to have to put on your thinking cap. And then we've got our cards. US hand, that's where you put your hand. He's got spots here for up to 10 cards. Usually you'd only have like 5. So when it's draw hand time, you just pull up the action deck and you put your cards in. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Fairly average number of commands at our disposal. And then, of course, you can just play them. I want to play that, discard. I'm playing my 4 moves. I go back to my reference card and I say that I now have 4 moves. Easy peasy. So US, German, same story. They have their build, their reference card in their hand. So did the British. So did the Italians. Soon there will be Russians or Soviets, and there will be Finns. The sequence of play here is my reference card. I had Greg put it in. You have a little marker here so you can keep track of where you are in the sequence of play. We have our firing processes. We have our KIA checks, melee, hold, and reaction fire, reorganization notes, and rally. I don't have anything for movement on here, but this is most of the game processes, and it will be with the module, so you'll have that to help you. Scenarios won't be in there, but we've PDF'd them for ourselves. You could PDF them and add them yourself to your copy. So we have all 24 scenarios in ours, and you can make them big and read them and use them. Charts won't be in the public one. This is the main player aid card, front and back, along with the British rules and the Finnish, or Italian rules. I want the Finns. Italian rules. So these scenarios and the charts are not going to be there. This is to take a picture. You can capture screenshots of your play and then you mark it up. We have magnification, so you can magnify into as much as 160%, at which point my scans start to get a little bit soft. When this is made public, Mike will probably give us access to the original art, which ought to be crisper than my scans or secondary art. You can see that my maps, when they came from Blue Panther, are sort of cropped by about 5 millimeters, so that we end up with this 1 centimeter gap. Greg filled that in with green to kind of compensate. On the winter maps, it's compensated with a white background. We can magnify out, and we have a line of sight tool, which will go from center to center. The centers are missing here, but they're still in the game, so we can draw a line of sight marker as we need, and it'll give us a range in hexes. You're going to have to do the math to do attenuation, you know, half, 1, 1.5. And let's see, we're getting down there now. So let's say during the game, play out, let go. During the game, these guys have done some stuff. This guy gets, well, let's look at their menus. Each soldier has a bunch of action menus. Everything you need and all the markers you need should be here. So actions, they can hold fire, do reaction fire, or lay smoke. If it lays smoke, you can place it up to 2 away. You're going to have to shift click on that to select it, and you can put it 2 away. So say 1, 2, he puts it there, and it's a smoke 1. Other actions, he could hold fire or reaction fire. He can be marked as complete. His weapon can jam. He can be pinned or he can be prone. If he's going to go off board, you can determine if he's exited via victory hexes, and he'll go into the exited part of your card. If he's killed, he'll go to the KIA. If he's routed, he'll go to routed. You could return him to stack. Usually if he's a fake marker, you just return that to stack. The deploy is on the card to randomly redeploy. We can mark him as moved, which he is marked as moved. You get these little, as soon as you move him, he's marked as moved. We can change his label if you want to add a little note to your guy. Like if you were playing a campaign of your own making, and you're trying to track experience, you can keep track of how many guys he's actually KIA'd. So I would just do like KIA equals 1. Say he killed a guy. Now I get a KIA equals 1, so I can keep track of who did what. It's there for your use. We can also magnify that to make it easier to see. We could say he, let's see, that's the label, and mask is to mask and unmask. So when you're playing an opponent online, as soon as you're spotted, you'll have to unmask your guy, and then your opponent will see what he is rather than the hidden guy, the unspotted guy. So let's say this guy is, pinned. He's a pin 1. And let's say this guy is reaction fire. At the end of your turn, when everything is done, you're going to draw your card for a random event, and then you get into cleanup. Cleanup here is automated for you. All we have to do is hit this cleanup button, and the smoke becomes a smoke 2. The pinned becomes pin 1, goes to pin 2. This guy who had a reaction fire, that's removed. Hold fires would not be removed. You have the option to manually remove hold. So smokes get incremented, pins get incremented. If I do this again, the pin 2 remains, but the smoke goes away. Reaction fires are removed, holds are not. Yeah. So everything's kind of set for you to go back to your scenario card and to increment your turn marker. You have to do it manually. So there's plenty of things that have been automated to make this a little bit cleaner and easier, and you can double click on a stack and pull that pinned off out of the way so you can see your marker, and you can try to rally him later. So yeah, it is a nice module. It gives you a lot of flexibility to build new scenarios, bigger ones, littler ones, other ones. You can make long ones, square ones, whatever you want. With the build cards, you can create whole new squads or platoons to play with. You have the opportunity to play online or against yourself. It's just so much goodness just waiting here, waiting just for you to buy the game. So hopefully, I think there's like 50 purchases online right now at relative range. If we can get that up to a couple hundred, maybe Mike will let us release this. I think this would be an awesome game to have available publicly on Vassal. Hopefully you're as excited for it as I am. The only thing that's left for me to do now is to use this Vassal module to play one of the scenarios. And I think I'm going to play scenario 3. The Hills Have Eyes. So next time we get together, I'll be talking through setting up scenario 3 with Vassal, and I'm going to play it against the ape. I'm going to play Americans against the ape's Germans. And hopefully you find that interesting. I'll see you guys next time.